lest we forget, folks, God is the first and the last. He is the beginning and the ending, and beside him there is no other God. He is the first cause, self-existing and self-evident. God does whatever he pleases, and whatever he says is what will come to pass. It will be very good if you don't ignore this. Let's not forget that God is the God of gods and the Lord of lords, and also the head of all principalities and powers, thrones and dominions and authorities. He made all things for his pleasure, and nothing was made without him. He is the center of all things. Without him in anything, that thing cannot hold. People, God made good and made evil. He made prosperity and he made adversity. He controls the times and the seasons. He makes and unmakes kings. We should not forget this. It is God who gives wisdom and understanding. He reveals the things that are deep and in the secret. He knows what is hidden in darkness. And he himself is surrounded by light. Even the birds and the animals have so much they could teach us about God. You can ask the creatures of the earth and the sea for their wisdom, and they will tell you. All of them know that the Lord's hand made them. God directs the lives of all his creatures. So let no one forget that everyone's life is in his power. It's true that old people have wisdom, but God has wisdom and power. Old people have insight, but God has insight and power to act. When God tears down, who can rebuild? And who can free those that God imprisons? Drought comes when God withholds rain, and floods come when God turns water loose. God is so strong and he's always victorious. Both the deceived and the deceiver are in his power. Folks, we must not forget that God takes away the wisdom of the rulers and makes leaders act like fools. He dethrones kings, he makes them prisoners, he humbles priests and men of power. He silences those who are trusted and takes the wisdom of old people away. He disgraces those in power and puts an end to the strength of rulers. God makes nations strong and great, but he can also defeat and destroy them. He makes their leaders foolish and lets them wander, confused and lost. They grope in dark and stagger like drunkards. O Lord, my God, how great you are. You are clothed with majesty and glory. Folks, we must not forget, God covers himself with light. He spreads out the heavens like a tent, and he builds his home on the waters above, and he uses the clouds as his chariots and rides on the wings of the wind. It is God who makes springs flow in the valleys and makes rivers to run between them. We must not forget before we think that all those things we have done by ourselves. The springs that runs between the hills provide water for wild animals. There the wild donkeys quench their thirst, and in the trees the birds make their nests and sing. From the sky, God sends rain on the hills, and the earth is filled with his blessings. O Lord my God, how great you are. Let's not forget that God makes grass to grow for cattle and plants for us to use so that we can grow our crops and produce wine to make us happy, produce olive oil to make us cheerful, and produce bread to give us strength. God created the moon to mark the months. The sun knows the time to set. Sometimes meteorological institutes behave as if they are the ones that tell the sun to come or the rain to go. The sun knows the time to set. He made the night, and in that night all wild animals come out. The young lions roar while they hunt, looking for the food that God provides. When the sun rises, they go back and lie down in their dens. Then people go out to do their work and keep working until evening. In his wisdom, he had made all these things. Let's not forget, folks, that God made man and woman and taught them everything that they know. God made all peoples, all nations, and demarcated their boundaries. Humans never suggested to God how to make or what to make them, whether black or white, short or tall. So, why do the nations plan rebellion? Why do people make their useless plots? Why do kings revolt and their rulers plot together against the Lord? Why do people plan to free themselves from God's rule and try to throw off his control? From his throne in heaven, the Lord laughs and mocks their feeble plans. Who are you to question God's wisdom with your arrogant, ignorant, and empty words? Now stand up straight and answer the questions God is asking you. Were you there when I made the world? If you know so much, tell me about it. Who decided how large it will be? Who stretched out the measuring line over it? Do you know all the answers? What holds the pillars that supports the earth? Who laid the cornerstone of the world? Have you ever in all your life commanded a day to dawn? Has anyone ever shown you the gates that guard the dark world of the dead? Have you any idea how big the world is? Answer me if you know. Do you know where the light comes from, or where the source of darkness is from? Can you show them how far they can go, or send them back again? I am sure you can, because you are very old. You were there when the world was made. Have you ever visited the storerooms where I keep the snow and the hail? I keep them ready for times of trouble and for the days of battle and war. Have you ever been to the place where the sun comes up, or the place from which the east wind blows? Now listen to this warning, you people. Learn this lesson, you rulers of the world. Serve the Lord with fear. Tremble and bow down to him, or else his anger will be quickly aroused and you will suddenly die. I tell you, happy are all who go to him for protection. Folks, in closing, I want you to know that forgetting that the world and all that is in it belong to the Lord, and that the earth and all who live on it are his, has given rise to the near collapse of humanity. Ignoring God and jostling for the ownership of the universe is pathological foolishness. You must know that the Lord, He is God. It is He who made us and not we ourselves. Please, do not ignore or do not forget this.